Good morning, everyone. Just introduce myself again for those who've only just joined us. I'm Rose Green. I'm lay worship leader for the Team Parish of St Luke in the City, and this is our service of morning prayer, and we'll be using the Trinity to Summer liturgy that Miranda prepared. And we're continuing our journey through Acts, beginning the start of chapter 12 today. And our psalm is, let me just double check. Psalm is Psalm 31, verses 1 to 5. So let's just pause for a moment, be still, remember that we are in the presence of God. We gather today as one body from the many places where God has given us shelter for this season. Come, Holy Trinity of love, gather us, inspire us, humble us, make us dream your dreams for us, inflame us with your love for the world, give us your vision for a new future. Amen. A little LED candle. Our light from the same source, our breath from the same spirit. We are in you, and you in us. This week's collect is taken from a book of Stephen Shakespeare's prayers. I think it's called Prayers for an Inclusive Church. Tender shepherd to the helpless and lost, we praise you for sharing your power with a motley band of stumbling friends. May we who have received without payment give without charge, and so bring your kingdom near. Through Jesus Christ, the Lord of the harvest. Amen. We pause to notice the companions we have on this way, folk of all genders and none, and all living creatures, all differently bodied, all beautifully imperfect, all searching, working, rejoicing, suffering. May the circle of our world and our attention expand. May we welcome the many faces of truth, the many bodies that bear your grace. May the circle of our world and our attention expand. So the beginning of Psalm 31. In you, Lord, I have taken refuge. Let me never be put to shame. Deliver me in your righteousness. Turn your ear to me. Come quickly to my rescue. Be my rock of refuge, a strong fortress to save me. Since you are my rock and my fortress, for the sake of your name, lead and guide me. Keep me free from the trap that is set for me, for you are my refuge. Into your hands I commit my spirit. Deliver me, Lord, my faithful God. Now, Acts chapter 12, it's most of chapter 12, so I kept the psalm short. King Herod arrested some who belonged to the church, intending to persecute them. He had James, the brother of John, put to death with the sword. When he saw that this met with approval among the Jews, he proceeded to seize Peter also. This happened during the festival of unleavened bread. After arresting him, he put him in prison, handing him over to be guarded by 4 squads of 4 soldiers each. Herod intended to bring him out for public trial after the Passover. So Peter was kept in prison, but the church was earnestly praying to God for him. The night before Herod was to bring him to trial, Peter was sleeping between 2 soldiers, bound with 2 chains, and sentries stood guard at the entrance. Suddenly, an angel of the Lord appeared, and a light shone in the cell. He struck Peter on the side and woke him up. "Quick, get up," he said, and the chains fell off Peter's wrists. Then the angel said to him, "Put on your clothes and sandals," and Peter did so. "Wrap your cloak around you and follow me," the angel told him. Peter followed him out of the prison, but he had no idea that what the angel was doing was really happening. He thought he was seeing a vision. They passed the first and second guards and came to the iron gate leading to the city. It opened for them by itself, and they went through it. When they had walked the length of one street, suddenly the angel left him. Then Peter came to himself and said, "Now I know without a doubt that the Lord has sent his angel and rescued me from Herod's clutches and from everything the Jewish people were hoping would happen." Excuse me. When this had dawned on him, he went to the house of Mary, the mother of John, also called Mark, where many people had gathered and were praying. Peter knocked at the outer entrance, and a servant named Rhoda came to answer the door. When she recognized Peter's voice, she was so overjoyed she ran back without opening it and exclaimed, "Peter is at the door!" "You're out of your mind," they told her. When she kept insisting that it was so, they said it must be his angel. But Peter kept on knocking, and when they opened the door and saw him, they were astonished. Peter motioned with his hand for them to be quiet, and described how the Lord had brought him out of prison. "Tell James and the other brothers and sisters about this," he said, and then he left for another place. In the morning there was no small commotion among the soldiers as to what had become of Peter. After Herod had a thorough search made for him and did not find him, he cross-examined the guards and ordered that they be executed. Then Herod went from Judea to Caesarea and stayed there. He had been quarrelling with the people of Tyre and Sidon. They now joined together and sought an audience with him. After securing the support of Blastus, a trusted personal servant of the king, they asked for peace because they depended on the king's country for their food supply. On the appointed day, Herod, wearing his royal robes, sat on his throne and delivered a public address to the people. They shouted, "This is the voice of a god, not of a man." Immediately, because Herod did not give praise to God, an angel of the Lord struck him down, and he was eaten by worms and died. But the word of God continued to spread and flourish. So, I wonder what you made of that reading. I think I was struck by Peter's clear bemusement at the whole thing. He doesn't realise this is really happening to him. He's really being released from prison. He thinks it's a vision or a dream. And I can imagine you're woken in the middle of the night by what's described as an angel. And the guards are asleep, the doors all open mysteriously without being touched. So yeah, I can imagine he would be a bit confused, and then it's only when the angel leaves him and he finds himself in the street and he's, "Oh, actually this did happen." So do put your thoughts into the comments and I'll respond. And also the fact that a servant girl who appears just this once in the whole Bible is named. I've loved those touches, and the fact that obviously the fact that it's a woman that's named is even more unusual. But then I noticed in yesterday's reading there was a reference to brothers and sisters, and today Peter says tell the brothers and sisters. So I think that's an indication that this early church is paying attention to its women as much as its men. And of course he goes to Mary's house. He doesn't go to one of the men. He goes to the house of one of the women. So I'm not labouring that point too much. Oh, so it's a sound. I don't know if turning up my speakers makes any difference to the sound. Sally points out that the woman brings the message from Peter and isn't believed right away. And Peter keeps on knocking. So there's all this toing and froing going on inside, while Peter's stuck outside. But he keeps on knocking. And the other half of the reading is Herod's death, which I know he wasn't the most pleasant of people, but the death seems a bit unusually harsh. Right, so Peter might not be. Eudoxia talks about the translation of brothers and sisters as being a choice of the people who wrote this particular version of the Bible, translating brothers and sisters from believers. So maybe the original author wasn't as egalitarian as I was hoping, as inclusive. But Peter still goes to Mary's house, and Mary's servant Rhoda is still named. So I'm sticking to my belief in an inclusive church right from the beginning. I'm going to move us on to our time of prayer, and it might be that what struck you in the reading is something that you bring forward into your prayers. So do put your prayers in the comments, and we'll pray them quietly together. Pray for those who are ill at this time, whether it's with coronavirus or something else. Pray for those feeling the restlessness of being shut up for weeks on end. And those who are enjoying the different pace that being at home produces. Remember that home isn't a safe place for everyone. Pray that we notice the friend knocking on the door. Who have we not been in touch with lately that might appreciate a phone call today? We ask for clarity to choose the wisest path, the path of liberation and compassion. We ask for abundance in our hearts, the strength to end poverty and bitterness. We ask for passion to speak truth to power, to claim the dignity of every child under the sun. We ask for the light that feeds all living things, to turn our hearts to the healing of the earth. We join all of our prayers together in the words of the Lord's Prayer. Please use whatever version is most familiar to you. I'm going to use the one from the liturgy. Divine Mother, Divine Father, to be in you is to be in heaven. May we hear the wonder that echoes in your name. May we accept no rule but the rule of love. May we never tolerate the evil of hunger. May the hurts we cause be forgiven, and the hurts we cause be healed. May we remember that we are fragile, and cherish the life we share with all. For all love and life and power is the gift of the Spirit. Amen. May the outrageous welcome of the Father accept us for who we are. May the incarnation of the Word touch and hold us close. May the wandering of the Spirit help us to risk ourselves for love. And the blessing of God, the womb of creation, the word of life, the wind of change, be with us and rest upon our homes, now and always. Amen. Just before our closing affirmation, just a reminder that Lily will be leading morning prayer tomorrow at 9:15, and we'll have our Holy Communion service on Sunday at 10 as usual. In the circle of God's love, we are one. The circle is never broken. In the light of God's welcome, we are one. The light never goes out. Let children teach us the wisdom of play. Let neighbours teach us the gentleness of care. May the circle surround us while we are apart. May the light draw us together again. Amen. Thank you all for joining me this morning, and God's blessings on you all for this day and the days to come.